This episode of Rookie Hunter is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation. Sheep Show is coming up soon, January 18th to 20th in Reno, Nevada. Get your tickets now before they sell out. Join the Lesson One Club and become a member of the Wild Sheep Foundation by going to wildsheepfoundation.org. Hey guys, welcome to episode 145. Welcome to the new year. We recorded this one just before the Christmas break. And we figured it would be nice to get together for a few drinks before all of the craziness happened. And decided to hold on to this one until the end of the break. It was just nice to unplug for a bit, and I think everybody else was doing the same. So welcome to the new year. Welcome to 2024. Hey, if you guys want to help us out, it would mean a lot to us if you left us a rating and a review in iTunes or a rating in Spotify. Those things really, really help us, especially after our long hiatus. It just helps us create some more exposure in those apps, and it helps us to get recommended to other listeners that are listening to similar things. And it doesn't take long. It doesn't cost you any money, and it helps us greatly. So if you want to do something for us for the festive season, that would be awesome. Looking for you guys to submit some questions, some topics of discussion. If there's something conservation related or something on your mind that you think we should talk about, send it over to us. We'll put something up on Instagram too. That's usually the best way to get you guys to interact with us. But you can also send us an email, info@therookiehunter.com. And we're just a few short weeks away from the Sheep Show. If you're thinking about going, well, you better register. You can do so, wildsheepfoundation.org. Better do that quick. If you're going, let us know. But let's get into this one. This is our Christmas episode. Again, Happy New Year. Sit back, relax, crack a nice cold beer, and enjoy episode 145 of Rookie Hunter. Kelly, you're looking crisp and clean.
4K. I got a new setup here.
I can see your pores.
I know. It's basically my DSLR. I figured out how to get this thing all hooked up as a webcam.
Nice.
But you know what comes with that is you got to get your room set up for this, then you start getting into lighting and like position and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're on a tripod now. So I don't have anywhere to set this up. So this is as good as we're getting today.
Yeah, I don't have what you got there, Kelly. It looks pretty sick.
You guys have Sony cameras though, so it's just you got to get one cord and then you're good to go.
Yeah, I looked into it briefly. I should do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is going to be. I don't know if this is going to be the Christmas episode or the post-Christmas episode, but happy holidays nonetheless.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Yeah. Cheers.
If you guys are ready for the holidays,
I got a little eggnog in the fridge.
Nice. That's all you need.
Shopping list, check. No, we have a turkey frozen in there and
Nice.
And a ham. Actually, I just took out some moose today, and we had some moose tacos. Random side note.
Nice.
Hoping I don't burn through all that stuff too quick. But yeah, we've got family coming to our house this time. First time we've spent Christmas up here.
Yeah, that's cool.
First time James can have Christmas up here. So lots of work anyway, inside and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, those pictures you guys have been posting with the moose, that looks unreal. The meals. Sorry, that's what I'm talking about. The meals you guys have been preparing, that looks delicious.
Yeah, I've done tacos a couple times, and then a moose lasagna. And then I recently did, similar to you, Mike, a bolognese sauce.
Yeah.
I let that sucker simmer for about 5 hours before we got in there. I actually quadrupled the recipe. So I've got 4 Tupperware things in the freezer I took
Yeah, that's
3 pounds
nice,
of
man,
meat.
because you're going to put in the effort to make it. You
Yeah.
might as well make lots and then freeze it. And then those days where it's like, what am I going to eat? And it's just like, sweet, pasta's easy. Have you got a pasta maker, Kelly?
I do, yeah. And that's something I wanted to do with James pretty soon here. He'll like it. It's like Play-Doh, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've made it with my niece and nephew. Yeah, they love it, man. It's a highlight for sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, Gary, you're the Italian. You should be the one making pasta.
I remember making it when I was a kid with my Nona, but
Nice.
yeah, you're right. It should get back
Yeah.
in the swing of things. My house is kind of in shambles because we're doing a massive reno. So I got a lot of things on the go, but definitely I would love to get back into making homemade pasta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty easy. Like, and it's so good. It's
Yeah.
like flour and eggs, and that's it.
Yeah.
It just seems like anything tastes that much better when you're making it from scratch,
Yeah.
you know? Even if it does look like dog shit. I mean,
Well,
Did I-
hopefully it doesn't. But
The only thing I've
are you
royally
referring to Kelly's?
the only thing that I royally screwed up was your dad's dinner rolls recipe, Mike,
Right.
which you sent me the recipe and then I did it. So after I was done, I kind of pull out these dinner rolls out of the stove and they're just baseballs, right? So I've never made bread before and I didn't let the yeast like do its thing. And then Preco's like, what recipe are you using? So I hand over this text or whatever Mike gave me. And she's like, no, that's not a recipe. That's just an ingredient list. I just slapped it all together and threw it in the oven. They smelled great, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
tasted like, actually the taste wasn't ultimately bad either. It was just like the texture, right? It was like literal
Yeah.
baseballs came out.
You should try him again. But that's like literally all he used for his buns was that.
Yeah.
There was no like steps or anything like that. But yeah, you got to let the yeast do its thing in the warm water.
Yeah.
And then you got to let it rise. When you can even use like the warm setting in the oven. But he always used to use the wood stove. He would set them kind of next to the wood stove, and that was like the
oh,
secret.
yeah.
And then so they would rise, and then you'd throw them in the oven after that. And yeah,
I like
They're
if we go back to we were talking the previous podcast about you guys asked me my experience with my dad and his friends, and it was a camping trip, and then we would go out, and the one guy, a part of the hunting group, he would make bread from scratch. So we would all go hunting, and they had a wood stove, and then they had this kind of contraption, what was like a cover they would put over top, but he would make the dough and make pizza from scratch.
Mm.
So you'd get the wall tent like crazy hot, obviously for the yeast to rise.
Yeah.
And then you'd make this great big spread of pizza.
Oh, man.
It was unreal.
Nice.
We used to make that, but there definitely is an art to doing it. So
Yeah,
I'm not good at it. I've never tackled it, but I know, Mike, that you've shown me a few pictures of your sourdough that you made.
Yeah. I got to get back in. That's something I was going to do over the break here is finally make some more sourdough.
And that's a bit of an art too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it's like a multi-day process too.
Mm.
Not that you're like constantly doing it, but you have to I can't remember, like 6 hours. You're like constantly like kneading the bread and letting it rise and then kneading it again and folding it. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Sitting
Holy
on
crap.
Yeah.
Sit on it
Yeah.
for 4 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, it's like over 3 days basically to kind of make it all happen.
It's crazy.
Nice. For one loaf?
You could do bigger batches if you wanted to, but I
Oh,
usually just
gotcha.
do 2, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good.
Nice.
It's worth it. And when you're using good flour and all that, you don't feel like shit when you eat bread like that. So I use like heirloom flour.
Oh, okay.
So it's like more like what the Italians and stuff would use, because the wheat that we
Nice.
have over here has been modified and it's got all this extra
Yeah,
shit in it.
bleached and-
That's what makes you feel like garbage when you eat that stuff.
Oh, okay.
But if you use really good flour, then yeah. And then because it's fermented, it's actually good for your gut health. And so you
Well-
can eat bread and be like, it's good for you. That's my, I eat sourdough like every day.
Well, my neighbor, like when I had living chickens, I don't have them anymore, but he was like, hey, can I get, some eggs off you? And I'm going to make some sourdough.
Nice.
That's what he says. The difference just in the eggs alone.
Yeah.
It's too bad I don't have my chickens anymore, but one day, just got to get them to last.
What happened? Did they all just get?
Oh man, I don't know if I talked about this in the podcast today, Kelly. Did we talk about it?
I don't think so, because I was wondering, like, what happened to all your chickens now? You get like a coyote in there? Or?
I don't know what got in there, but the first round we had, I went in there. It was me and one of my sons. I can't remember how old he was, but he's like, "Dad, the chickens are sleeping." I'm like, "Man, I don't know about that." And I walked out there, looked in there, and they were all neatly stacked in the corner
Yeah.
with missing heads. I was like, "What the heck is this? What's going on here?" And I said, "Yep, they're sleeping, buddy. All right, let's go back to the house." And then I kind of just got rid of them. So something climbed in there. I don't know what it was, if it was a weasel or if it was a hawk, or I may have talked about this on a previous podcast, but I'm not sure. So that was the first round of chickens, which were awesome. They were pumping out eggs like nonstop. They were great. And then I got another round of chickens, and they were useless. They laid for a bit, and then they just stopped laying. They just didn't. And then we gave them away to somebody.
Huh. Interesting.
But we haven't got back into them, which I would love to. I'd love to. I love having eggs. I like walking out there and just collecting eggs.
Yeah. Yeah. You got a nice coop too.
Yeah, it's great. It's a sweet little setup. It came with the house when we bought the house. That's one thing we're not renovating. That will stay the same. Yeah. But, going back to making bread and that, like you're saying with the flour, and you get farm fresh eggs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It all
You
comes
get
together.
all
Oh, yeah.
the best stuff
All the
possible. It makes a
details.
difference. Yeah.
Just got to keep them little guys alive long enough to lay eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to think what I made. I made burgers again with the moose,
Nice.
and then I made tacos, and then I had some left over, and I did breakfast tacos one day.
Mm-hmm.
Those were good.
Nice.
So been enjoying it for sure.
I mean,
I haven't consumed a ton of it, but yeah, I'm gonna share some of it over the holidays. Just give some away too to people, and yeah,
Nice.
which is nice. It's hard though because it's like precious. you know, you're like, I don't know how many I can give away here, but
Yeah.
people are gonna enjoy it. So
And if you get one, you're special.
yeah, exactly. And if you're listening to this and you don't get one, well, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try harder next year.
The next
Yeah.
raffle is some of Mike's moose meat.
There
Yeah.
you go. I would love to know what people do with wild turkey. Have you guys ever tried to cook a
yeah.
wild turkey?
Yeah.
Have
I've
you?
got some. Actually, I have some
Nice.
in I think I have some in my freezer. I might have ate it. But yeah, the breast is good. The legs are very tough. Like I simmered them for about 10, 12 hours, and then they finally broke down, and it was awesome. Like we did like shredded turkey leg tacos or something like that.
Oh, nice.
And, but yeah, it took a full 10 hours, eh? Mike, you were there.
Yeah. I think we talked about this. This is a long time ago, I guess, probably, but yeah. I think many whiskeys later, we kept just going. Yeah, let's just keep waiting, because we kept checking it, and you could have fucking broken window with that thing. But then it
Every
reaches
hour.
that point. There's like this turning point where it's like, oh wow, now it's like really tender. So you just got to be patient with that stuff.
Yeah,
and I think that's where you get the bad reputation with that type of stuff. Sometimes is people just aren't willing to wait or cook it the right way. But if you do, then it's really good. But it's just totally different.
I can't remember exactly how it works, but it's like that next fat congealing kind of stage, right? Where it kind of breaks down that next level of tissue, I guess. But yeah, it took a long time with those. But you're kind of doubting yourself the whole time, right? Because you're like, okay, hour 6, still can break a window with it. Hour 8, still. And then you start thinking, well, am I going the other way? Like, am I making it worse?
Yeah.
And then, we were so committed at that point. It was just like, we're going to keep going until we can shred these things like pulled pork, basically.
That is a commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason why I asked, not that I can do anything, but I got so many of those stupid things in my yard.
Yeah.
I counted over 23 I think, the
Wow.
other day.
Wow.
That's crazy, man, because when you and I were kids, they weren't around.
No, they weren't
Yeah.
around. And they're a problem, man. They crap on everything. Like there's just
And once
Yeah.
they're around, they're, they kind of stick. They're like rabbits, right?
totally.
But
Yeah.
I've actually noticed a couple in Kelowna,
Oh, really?
which isn't, I'm not complaining. right now. I mean, if there's another thing we can hunt around here, I know there's like pockets in the Okanagan where you can hunt them, and heading back towards Trail and Rock Creek, there's a couple pockets there too. But
Right.
yeah, if they work their way up here, I wouldn't complain.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. I saw some in a very random spot. It was private land, but there was like 5 of them.
Yeah.
Not far from here, actually. So that's cool to see that they're coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally. I'm always curious about people who do hunt them and how they prepare them, how they eat them. Like it's,
Right.
there you go.
I worked on, if people are interested in turkey hunting, I worked with Ben O'Brien on all of his shows. And he's got 2 seasons that are all dedicated to turkey hunting. They talk to like experts and stuff like that. So if people do want to learn more about turkey hunting, check those. It's called Roost.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people who get into turkey hunting, man, they love it. Like I can just by working on that and just hearing people I mean, some people hate this comparison, but the comparison of hunting turkeys to hunting elk, because it's similar
They're
like
vocal.
tactics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it's really interesting. So I can see how people get so addicted to doing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a spring hunt that you can do when there's not much else going on, right? So
Yeah. It's like it's a talkative hunt, right? Because
Yeah, and
you're
you
calling
can-
them in and they're coming in and, they're kind of doing their display and they're it is cool because you're hiding there and they're coming to you. I mean, there's not a ton of hunts where it's like that, like you just pick a spot and you call something in and it thinks you're one of them.
Right.
So, I mean, you can sit and hide and wait for a whitetail, but you're, rattle around a little bit and do stuff like that. But there's just something about turkey and elk that sets them apart, I think.
I don't know if I talked about this on a previous podcast, but it was the springtime and the turkeys they're around my place all the time. So they started fighting, but they got close to the horse and the horse reared up and just started booting it in the head. And that those things are tough as nails, man. That turkey took a pummeling and it just didn't even phase it. They kept on fighting. I think I got a video of it.
Yeah.
I think you might have sent that. Yeah.
We actually caught a video of it because it was the most bizarre thing.
Yeah. Yeah. They can take shots too.
Yeah.
Like people bow hunt them and stuff, but I think it can be pretty difficult because if you don't get the perfect shot and it's, where are the vitals? It's a little more difficult on a bird with a bunch of feathers, right? So
yeah.
Totally.
Or, shotgun is probably easier, but I guess you got to make sure you're using the right shot and stuff like that. But, yeah, we should actually head to your place, Garrett. Like, I'm not saying your place, but like we'll meet at your place. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you
then
wouldn't have to go far. Yeah.
And then go for a Kootenai turkey hunt.
That would be fun, actually. We should do that.
No, yeah. Whiskey, we'll sit in the hot tub with shotguns.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We won't be doing that. Yeah.
It would be fun to go down to the Kootenays and do like an actual, maybe it's not something we do all the time, but it'd be fun to actually commit to doing it once, like the right
absolutely.
way, and see what happens.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I've got a bunch of calls and stuff that Randy dropped off for me. So I've got hand calls and gobblers.
Box thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I've got one of those.
Yeah.
I've got the stick one, and then I've got the one where you kind of flick it around and it gobbles.
Yeah, I've got the one that looks like a big black dildo, kind of. You whip that thing around.
Well, you guys can test them all out at my house. So we could just see which one they respond to.
Spend a day or two there messing with them, see what works, what doesn't, then we'll head out.
Because they literally, they roost in the trees right next to my house. So they go from in the horse pasture, they flap in the trees, and then they just go back and forth. That's it.
Crazy.
And
Maybe
there's
that's
just
what was
more and
eating
more.
your chickens, Garrett.
Well, funny you mentioned that because I've caught them in there a few times trying to rough the chickens up. They get in the coop and they try to eat the chicken food, right? So they'll fly right in there. And them little bastards can fly pretty good.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I think you need some chicken wire or something around that thing. Like, how are these animals getting in?
They know the combination. They're smart.
It's just a roof.
Yeah. They're in there picking the locks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the warden, he's got a ring of keys on his belt.
Yeah.
That's
No,
funny.
man, there's a fence around it. Yeah, it's they just fly in there because if they know there's food in there, they're going there. And
Yeah,
I
guess.
think the only reason why they're hanging around my place is because they pick off all the horse feed.
Hmm.
Whatever the
Hmm.
horses don't eat, they eat it.
Right.
Speaking of horses, how's that going, Garrett?
Good, man. Yeah, the horse is getting good. Lots going on there. Got a whole bunch of hay. I sent you guys some pictures there. So that's
Yeah.
always a daunting
set up.
task. So I got that going. Got a new tractor, trade the other one in. So I got a bigger
Oh,
one.
what did you get?
I got another Kubota, but I
Okay.
traded my smaller Kubota, which was a great tractor, but it just wasn't enough. It couldn't lift, but love that tractor. Nothing wrong with it. It's just the lifting part. And then I got bigger bales of hay. That was the push to get a bigger tractor.
Oh, I
So
see.
now I could put out a giant block of hay and I don't have to drag small bales out there every day. And I get about 10 to 15 days off a bale of hay. And I built like a little platform where it's covered. And now I can move that around and I could take off and I'm not handcuffed to my place. So that's
Nice.
what's going on. So sorry, the tractor was an L2501. That's what I had before Kubota. And then I jumped up to an MX 5400.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what I got.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I
it's
want to
good-
have a tractor one day. Ever since you and I were in Hawaii,
Yeah.
we had the John Deere and would just mess around with that thing every day. I just
love
fucking
that thing.
love messing with tractors. And then when I was going to school up here, I was working at a winery. So I'd be driving around on a tractor all day and I would hay the fields for them. And
That's
moving-
awesome.
yeah, bins around full of grapes and stuff like that. Yeah, I was just like on any excuse to use the tractor. I was on that thing constantly.
Oh. And then you get going and you get a little cocky with it and you start swinging around. I don't know how many fence posts I've taken out with it already. Like shit. And then I put another one in. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. And just they're such a handy tool to have, especially if you're doing what I'm doing here. You know, cleaning out manure, lifting hay, clearing
Mhm.
snow, all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
totally, man. Yeah.
They are nice to have.
Yeah. I referenced Hawaii. For those wondering what the hell I'm talking about, Garrett and I worked on a coffee farm in Hawaii when we were 19. I turned 19 when I was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that. That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, that was a good time.
That was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Garrett, you've been getting out with the hounds and you've been sending us some photos and stuff. You got some stories from being out in the field. What's been going on?
Yeah, man, I've been loading the hounds up now that the snow has finally arrived. I didn't really get out much in the fall because of all the work I put into the pets, but that's kind of, where
Yeah,
my-
late snow, so it's tricky.
Yeah.
Right?
that's where my passion is. And, I like to use them because I put all that time into them. So now I drag them out there. So yeah, I wanted to check out an area that I had on my list of areas to check out. So I drug the hounds out there and I went for a good jaunt and it was, it's awesome to get out in that neck of the woods. Plus it's good always to check out, gear and you get to use gear that you spent money on. I bought those gunner kennels. I don't know
Yeah.
if you saw those. I
Yeah.
have to put a picture up. So most of the time those things are just collecting dust and then I finally get to use them. So I load the hounds up, took them out there. And then I went into this area where I know it's basically right along the border. And I'm not sure if I'm correct on this or not, but I'm not sure if Washington is allowed to use hounds to chase cats.
Oh, interesting.
So, there's that topic where the cats can kind of migrate back and forth.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was my take on it. And so I was kind of hoping to, maybe catch one that had come across the line there up into some of that country.
Get one of those Yankee cats.
Yeah. So I went up in there looking for cats, but man, did I turn up a lot of wolf tracks.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got into this area, which was gorgeous, nice hiking. I don't know if it's kind of like your guys' area where you get into those ponderosa pines where everything's kind of
Nice.
spread out,
Yeah. Love
still kind of steep, but you can really see into the bush, you can see a couple hundred yards.
Yep.
Hiking, obviously looking for ungulates because if there's deer, elk, moose, all that, then there's feed for cats. But all I saw was just wolf tracks everywhere, which is a little intimidating when you got hounds because I've heard horror stories of guys losing their hounds to wolves.
Right.
Right.
But my hounds are pretty good. I've trained them to, come back. That's the big one. So I try not to let them go past about 100 yards, especially if I'm going into an area with wolves. I didn't want to go at all, but I thought, I'd take them out for some exercise and walk around. But when I was out there, I came back and I noticed a blue truck next to mine. Came down. It had a little emblem on the side. I said, "Oh, this is the CO." Whatever, not doing anything wrong. Go down, have a conversation with him, and basically was talking to him. And all's good. Check my tags and the hounds. He was looking at the gunner kennels and my setup. He's like, "Wow, this is awesome." I take a picture and basically talking to me about what's going on, what you're seeing, and just a good, friendly conversation with the CO, which is always good
nice
to have. They're friendly people, nothing to hide. So I don't know, like it comes in waves when you run into the CO. Sometimes I feel like I never see them, and then other times I feel like I see them all the time. So
yeah, I guess they can't be everywhere at once, but
totally,
they probably need to have more of them. And it's a tough job, but yeah, sometimes you'll go a year or two without seeing any, and then you'll go out 3 times and you'll see them all 3 times. So you're right. I guess it depends where they are.
Yeah, by luck, you always seem like it just comes in waves.
Yeah.
And then I got out again there today and went out for a hike and had the hounds, and then they turned up another carcass, which I feel like they're very good at turning up carcasses. Was another one of those episodes where I'm prying one of the dogs open and pulling gizzards out of its mouth.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably going to be an interesting night for me. Probably dogs puking all night.
Yeah. Did they get any hair or anything?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I pulled out this sock long piece of guts out of the one dog's mouth.
Good times.
So I'll be burning those.
Man. Yeah.
I'll be burning those gloves. Yeah.
Yeah. Oscar was the worst for that.
Yeah. He was bad for that. Speaking of COs though, at least he rolled up in a truck and not a helicopter this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. When we
That
were
was
up north
crazy.
and the helicopter landed in the river beside us. They were nice too. But it's kind of tough when you're, knee deep in the river and CO stops beside you. So we had to get dry and then unload all of our packs. And
my tags are at like
everything
the bottom of my pack. So everything's in there all perfectly because you're not expecting to run into a CO and to rip that whole thing apart.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but that was right around where you had to carry some identification with you, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that's right when that rolled out. And when he asked us, he's like, "Oh, right, you guys actually got it." We're like, "Well, yeah, of course."
Oh, yeah. You mean because it kind of went electronic at that point?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. That was
we nailed it. But it was just
when
super
you're hunting,
inconvenient.
you don't want a helicopter landing next to you in a small valley when you're hunting.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, good. This, again, the carcass thing is, this animal that we came across, the hounds found was, it was a whitetail buck of significant size. So I've been through this before with the elk. Right away, I just, called the CO and asked him what I can, what I can't do. And, basically go through that whole protocol of being in compliance and doing the right thing, and had a good long conversation with him again, different CO, which was very helpful and helped me through the process. And if people aren't aware about what you can and can't do in that situation, that you do need a permit to have or acquire something that's like antlers attached to a skull or to a carcass. You can't just take it and go home. And you can go back to previous podcasts. I talked about this when I found the elk rack, but this time around we found a whitetail, which was just a pretty nice whitetail, like super nice. So it kind of going, well, I know what to do here. And the first thing I did was just call the CO, and which was, again, I'll say it again, they were super helpful and they helped me through the process. And it's basically what I did, man. I just followed that and everything's legit and legal. So,
Garrett, did you guys determine what had happened to the whitetail or no?
No, it was like mangled. So that was just speculation. Like you saw the pictures, it had like rib cage, although in the head where it cut it off the neck, there was still meat there. So like that, you know what I mean? The predators are still coming back to it.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said by like, you know what I mean? Like it's still in the process of getting ripped apart.
Yeah.
But like to try to determine what happened to it, like how it died.
Yeah.
No
idea.
Oh, it was Yeah, they picked it apart. Yeah, the crows and the coyotes. I mean, there's probably a whole pack of coyotes in there. They
Yeah,
cleaned
it's
that thing
amazing,
right up.
man, how fast they can clean it up because
Oh yeah.
I mean, we might have talked about this, but with the moose, Kelly's dad and Kelly's father-in-law, Randy and Wayne, went back. I think it was the following day,
Mm-hmm.
and that thing had been pretty much like cleaned, like down to the bones.
Oh yeah.
And there was a log next to where we had processed it and everything.
Yep.
And field dressed it, and they said the log was just covered in bird shit. Like, so they were just eating and shitting, and they just cleaned the whole thing dry, basically within
That
a
could-
day.
It could have
Yeah.
been all birds eating it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
silent. But we could hear coyotes when we were sleeping, or at least I could hear them anyway. So there was some coyotes in there because as the crow flies, it actually wasn't too far from where we had set up camp, even though it was a bit of a trek to get there. But yeah, I could hear them howling all night long, and then the birds, and yeah, it doesn't take long for them to clean that up, man. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, it's like Mike exactly. All there was crows and a whole pile of coyote tracks. Whether or not that was one or two coyotes making all the tracks, or if it was an entire pack. So, like
Yeah,
you said,
probably a
like,
few of them. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there was not much left of that thing
yeah,
besides what was left in the neck for meat.
yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
But now I got the skull and the antlers, and I still got to do the elk. Geez, I'm way behind but COVID came out. Here's the crazy thing. I talked about this before. You couldn't ever get the dye or whatever the hell you call it. What hairdressers use, whatever, not the
Oh,
dye,
yeah.
Kelly got it. What is
the
it called?
volume lifter, whatever the hell it's called.
I have it, but I can't remember what it's called. It's not bleach, is it?
It's not the box dye you buy at Shoppers Drug Mart or London Drugs. You actually have to go to
Yeah. Like a salon retailer, like wholesaler
Yeah,
that sells only to hair salons, basically.
that's right. Yeah.
But I can't remember what it is or what it's for because the one I did for Mike was so long ago.
So going back to the COVID thing, in my small town, they weren't selling it to people because it was so hard to get because you know what COVID
Supply
did.
chain, yeah.
So now I should revisit that. I should go back. I got a couple things I need to bleach out.
Yeah.
We did an episode on that. So if anyone's interested, I don't know what episode that would have been, but
Yeah.
or what it was called. There's some useless information for you. Did we do an episode specifically on that, or
I can't remember, but I feel like we did. So
Okay.
it'd be worth scanning through the episode.
you know what? When I do the outro for this episode, I'll look up what it was, and then if people want to check it out, because
Yeah.
Kelly, that the mule deer that you did for me, I've got it up. It's actually like above my bed. It looks awesome.
Yep.
But that thing looks amazing, man. Still.
Yeah.
And I had one done of the mountain goat, and honestly, man, the one that you did looks better.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
I paid to have that other one done. So
I think I surprised myself like how that one turned out, but like I did find some good YouTube videos, which I think we referenced in that episode. So like
I think
you
we
said,
did,
the whole story will be in that episode. But yeah, it just turned out super white, and clear, and
the antlers look
there was
really good
nothing
too.
left. Yeah, and the antlers look good. He gave me some tips too in the video about because like inevitably you end up bleaching a little bit of the antler base, and you don't, you try your best not to. You kind of tape them up and do all that stuff, but like there's always a little bit. So he gave me like the color of a varnish or a veneer. I can't remember. Basically a stain. And then I painted them on with a Q-tip, and I got the bases to look like pristine again. Exact
Holy
same
shit.
color.
You
as
can't
the
even tell,
antler.
yeah.
you can't even tell.
That's
It's funny
awesome.
that we're talking about this because I was looking at it like yesterday morning. I just woke up and I was just kind of staring at it.
Yeah.
Like, man, you can't even tell.
Yeah. It
that
turned into
was-
like a little art project actually, which is kind of cool. Like I wouldn't have thought you had to, paint the antlers and do all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, he does it, I think, as like a side job, but he does a ton of them. So he just knows all the tricks, right? So now, like having said that, if I killed a deer and wanted to do this again, I don't know if I would. I might just bring it in because like the front part's super messy. That's the problem. Like you need to have a
Yeah.
place where you can get a pressure washer in there and like blow all the stuff out of it. And it gets pretty nasty for your backyard. So I think I had every cat in the neighborhood in my backyard that day.
You can find a car wash that doesn't have
That's
any
what I was gonna
cameras.
say, yeah,
You can
yeah.
go there in the middle of the night.
Yeah. What are
Yeah.
you doing?
So you need
Nothing.
something, right?
Yeah.
Or you need to
Yeah.
like set something up where you have some tarps and you have like some covers over you and whatever, right? It's just so you can go nuts and make sure you get everything. And then you got to boil it repeatedly. Oh, OxyClean was the other thing. You need some OxyClean.
I think I used that. I think you helped me out when I did the elk, and it turned out awesome.
Oh, okay.
I did that with.
Yeah, I think
I
it was
did
the
that
same
with the-
time. I
Yeah.
think you're right.
Well, now I'll be back into it. I got a couple to do. I'm gonna.
Yeah,
relive
listen to that episode, Garrett.
I will. Yeah, because I got that the elk that's sitting down my workshop, and now I got this whitetail.
Yeah, you can
I
do
got
2 for 2.
two for
Yeah.
two. Except for the whitetail, it's going to need the OxyClean and that
Mm.
because it still has a bunch of meat on it.
You have some big pasta pots.
I do. Yeah.
You'll need a big one for the elk.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need like actually you might need one of those like I was thinking deep fryer kind of buckets, like the really big ones.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Oh, okay.
I got one of those, and then I just put it right on top of that camp chef.
Yeah.
Right? Remember, you've
Perfect.
seen it when we went hunting, and then I kind of just, when I did it with the other elk, I just rested the antlers up against, I think it was like a wall or something, so they wouldn't fall over.
Right.
Everything was kind of balancing, you know what I mean? And just
Nobody
yeah,
go near it.
nobody touch it, and I just let it do its thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you renovating the house around that specifically? That elk?
That elk?
You should keep that in mind and get a spot for it.
Oh,
I think it's huge though, man. It would take up the
I
whole
know.
wall.
I think I
still-
cashed all my tokens in on that. That's why I haven't shot anything in years. And people keep telling me you'll never shoot another one that side. I'm like, I know. I just want to shoot something. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Garrett, you went on a hunt. You traveled with your dad and your father-in-law
Yeah.
to a new area. We didn't talk about that. You were just getting ready to go, I think, the last time we talked. So how was that trip?
It was
A
awesome.
lot of, exploring new territory and that, but
Yeah. Yeah, it was unreal, man. It was good. I don't want to give out the spot because
Yeah.
how hard we work for spots here, but it was an area that hold a lot of game, probably because it's an area where the game winter. But I mean, in terms of going to a place and seeing animals, just the amount of animals we saw was super rewarding to see that. And it's an area where their conservation has taken place, where they, they've thinned things out. Like when I say things, like trees and in the
Cool.
winter ground, they've done burns. And so you can definitely see the animals there flourishing from that. And it was awesome to see. And I'm talking like elk, mule deer, whitetail.
cool.
I mean, I'm not sure it was my first time there, so I can't compare it to what it used to be. But for me,
Right.
seeing it from my eyes, from what I'm used to see over here, it sure is nice to see animals surviving that way and again flourishing. So it was a super cool experience. And I wasn't there for that long, but we didn't harvest anything. But again, just to drive around and see animals was super rewarding. And the guy's accommodations, like he kept it super clean. He was super personal. Him and his wife they're just great people, man. He sent me
Nice.
a Christmas card in the mail.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like a calendar and shit. Just good people,
Cool.
And then I gave him some money again for next year. It was awesome, man.
Nice.
It was a great experience. And it's super cool to get out there with my dad and my father-in-law. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Man, you know what? So, you sent us some photos and some videos of animals and stuff. But when you sent the video of you guys drinking wine and eating pasta, I'm like, fuck, I want to be there so bad. I mean, which just goes to show you, like, it's less about all the other stuff. It's more about just hanging out with family and
Yeah.
stuff,
100%. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, you
So-
nailed it. The camaraderie. And for those guys and us to get together and go there and have something like that where we can sit down and cook those kind of meals.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Like that was garlic I grew out of my garden.
Nice.
And then I think, okay, so one night I did steaks. I did the steaks. Another night, my dad, he made a huge thing of chili. And next night, my father-in-law, he did a great big thing of pasta. Then every morning we had eggs, bacon toast. We come back for lunch. We had a bunch of cold meats and that. We're
Nice.
drinking scotch every night.
Yeah,
was it the
awesome.
Caslow sourdough pasta?
It was, Kelly.
I know it was.
Oh
Was
no,
it?
maybe it wasn't. No, I'm not sure.
No?
Well, it could have been. That stuff's awesome. We eat that all the time.
yeah, it is good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's what was out there last couple times.
I love that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, even the bread. Did they make bread? I think they make bread too. I could be wrong on that one. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, great experience. Wasn't there for very long, but seeing a shit ton of animals, it was awesome.
Cool. Yeah, so you put a deposit down for next year then?
Oh God, yeah.
Nice. Well, if you need some
same time.
Same time, same place.
Like what was that? Late October?
It was the third week in November.
Oh,
So we were hunting whitetails. Yeah. And
Nice.
again, I don't think you would see that amount of animals if you were down there. You know, let's say if you were hunting elk
right.
September 10th, you know, for 6 Point. It's a different, that's what I was told. Like it's a totally different dynamic at that time of the year when everything's coming down to winter,
Yeah.
which is cool to see. If you want to see that, that's awesome too. Like if you just want to see a whole bunch of animals in an area running around.
Yeah. But did you see a lot of whitetail though? Like any bucks?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, you bet you we did.
But did
Yeah.
you guys shoot one?
Well, we didn't shoot one. We had some chances, but well, my poor dad there, it always seems it happens. The day we were leaving, he gives me a call and he's like, "Garrett, I got some bad news." I was like, "Oh no, what's going on?" He goes, "I can't get my truck to go into 4-wheel drive." And that was
Oh, no.
right when we got snow. So I hadn't left my house yet. I was literally just ready to hop in my truck and leave. So I drove over there. And as my dad puts it, he's like, "Yeah, if I can't get this thing into 4-wheel drive, it won't even pull the hat off your head," which he's right.
yeah.
So
Right.
we stuffed everything into my truck. So then we ended up taking one truck and we're driving around with one. So I had my dad, my father-in-law, and again, it was cool. It was all right. We had a lot of chances, man. We probably had over 5 chances to shoot bucks, which is super cool.
Yeah.
I think I heard, what's your buddy's name there? That I forget what his name is, but he said all you can ask for is a chance when you go hunting.
Mm.
So if you get over 5,
Right.
that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I mean, just seeing stuff, man. Doesn't matter if it's on private or public, just seeing animals is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're not seeing stuff, the 3 of us have all been there. It's just like, man, it just crushes your soul.
Oh, and I've had some years, man, where I don't see shit.
yeah.
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 Well, that's
even,
cool, man.
Even the time when we were, all of us wrote, we always talk about this, but when we were out hunting the elk and Kelly got the deer and all those grouse we got,
Yeah. Thank
that
God for
kept,
those.
That kept the morale.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. What are you, Kelly, doing a MTV Cribs here or what?
No,
It's making me sick.
I wanted to see if I could change the white balance here. Sorry.
Jesus. Well, that's cool, Garrett. I'd love to come out. I love that area. I was out. I passed through there last spring, and I hadn't been out that way in a long time. It's pretty awesome out there.
It's unreal.
Pretty unique in terms of like, there's a variety of terrain that you can get into there.
Totally.
I'd love to come and join you guys next year if I can invite myself. I'm sure Kelly
For
wants to
sure.
invite himself too. It looks cool.
I'll be in. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys ready for whiskey and vinyl?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Who's up?
Garrett.
Yeah. So whiskey, I'm drinking 1824 Glenlivet. I don't know what I was drinking last time. For vinyl, I'm with Bright Light Social Hour. You guys ever heard of them?
No, I don't think so.
I think he might have sent me something, but I'm trying to piece something together here, but I don't think so.
Yeah, it's kind of been on my playlist here, and I've been listening to it as I'm doing chores around the house. So it's a good one.
Awesome.
Check it out.
What kind of tunes?
I would say I could be wrong on this. Maybe like alternative indie rock, maybe.
Right.
Is there a
Yeah.
little southern flair in there? Southern rock or no?
Kind of, Kelly. You have to check it out.
Okay.
Yeah. They got some different shit going on there. It's good though.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. Where are they from?
I don't know the technical questions here. Fuck, I don't know.
You got to be prepared, Garrett. Jesus Christ.
Fuck.
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quick.
I don't know. United States of America.
America.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we'll check them out.
Check
Nice.
them out.
Mike, what do you got?
Kelly, can you guess what I got? It's a pretty obvious choice.
I would say Tom Petty.
No, actually, I had that one in my hand. I was going to
Neil
save it
Young.
for next times. No,
Oh.
it's newer.
Oh, okay.
It's on vinyl.
Yeah, I need a couple
Yeah.
hints. Newer, and what's another hint?
Newer. They're from Australia. Another band from Australia.
Parcels.
The last one I did. Yeah. So you see that?
Oh, yeah, nice. I've got that one too.
Yeah. I think this came to me via you because Bree bought you
That's
one
right.
and you also bought one for yourself. So I ended up with this one.
Although my
And,
knowledge of the parcels came from you, so I just
True.
returned the favor.
So I earned it. But yeah, so Parcels, they're I mean, it's kind of pop, it's kind of disco. They've got some club music, like they're pretty versatile.
They got some
band
Pink
and-
Floyd and like classic
Yeah, yeah.
kind of
So
Beatles and Eagles vibes too.
yeah, especially with the last album, Day and Night is very like Pink Floyd-y concept album. So super cool. But live volume 1 is one of my favorites. They did it all live off the floor in a studio in Germany. And yeah, there's a lot of tunes on this record that I like to just put on and play drums. And yeah, they're great, man. And you got to see them live. I bailed on that one because of COVID concerns, and you ended up getting COVID at that concert.
I went anyways.
That's that stuff
Yeah.
when we went hunting near you were putting it on. I kept asking, who is this? You're
Yeah,
like, yeah, this is the Parcels.
that live album. You know, if you're gonna start listening to the parcels, start with that live album.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely.
So good.
So yeah, Parcels
you know-
Live Volume 1. Not
Yes.
Volume 2. I'm not a huge fan of that one, but
Yeah,
Volume
that's
1.
Volume 2 is an interesting one. They're one of those bands where they're just better live. I mean that night or light day or night day album or whatever it's called
Day Night,
is
yeah.
Day Night is super well done as a studio album. But like their other studio albums I don't like as much as that live volume 1.
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And it's like in concert too, it was really good, really kind of jammy, like they just kind of blend
Nice.
everything
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, they're
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
What are you drinking for whiskey?
Oh yeah.
Don't
So
forget
I'm doing
about
something
that.
different tonight. I'm keeping on the Okanagan Spirits. These guys should be a sponsor of the podcast. 'Cause I did them
Let's just
Last
be
time.
frank.
but they this is an old fashioned Negroni that they do. It's like they do spirits in a bottle, which is cool.
Mm.
Nice.
So it's gin, berry liqueur, and craft bitters, and it's 36%. So it's got a little punch to it. And basically, you just
Holy.
add an orange to this, and you're ready to rock and roll. But yeah, I love
Nice.
like the bottles are kind of old school looking, and
Yeah.
it's really good. Yeah.
Is it like a cork top or is it twist off? Oh, that's the best part right there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let me get on some of that right now. There it is.
oh yeah, the bigger bottle sounds better.
Nice.
You know what, Garrett? You got me into whiskey. I don't know if you knew that.
I feel like a pirate.
It was
No, that's rum. And
Oh, yeah, that's rum.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Is that what you have, rum? Yeah.
I think it was Christmas, and you had some really good whiskey. We were up at your parents' place. You're like, try this, and I wasn't really into it, and like, it was like this nice bottle of whiskey you had, and like, holy fuck, that's really good. Like, I had no idea. So once you're like exposed to like something that's good, it's like anything, like food or whatever. Once you've experienced that, you're like, okay, now I understand. Like even with a good bottle of wine, like
Oh,
if you're not
totally.
into wine and you try really good wine, you're like, oh, okay, I understand why people like this. So I don't remember what it was, but
Yeah.
I got it at that point. So
Yeah. It's not like you're drinking cat piss.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kelly?
Well, I might as well start with the drink of choice tonight. So I was kind of perusing the cabinet there, and I couldn't find any whiskey or well, I guess there's some whiskey in there, but it's kind of like your standard, Wisers and stuff. So that's
Oh,
not
I
bad.
heard. I got a text from Randy. I heard there's a little something there.
Yes, so that's what I grabbed. So
Oh, you dipping in early?
yeah, so Randy brought some bamboo for us. But yeah, it was basically like a payback because we brought some good bourbon out there after the moose hunt, and also like just for we split all the work, right? But you and I kind of stuck back and did a lot of the butchering and cutting and that.
Yeah,
type
that
of
was a
stuff.
12-hour day.
Yeah, Randy brought a nice bottle of bamboo.
Yeah,
over,
that was
and
nice.
Yeah, so I thought I'd crack into that a little bit. Don't worry, there's still a lot there. So and we got to
Nice.
get together before Christmas here too.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Kelly, is that rum or is that whiskey?
Yeah, it's rum.
It's rum.
So I'm kind of breaking the mold here, but I'll be back to bourbon next time.
It's tasty.
It is tasty. And it's good,
Nice.
like just by itself, like it's got it's got like a sugarcane vibe to it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like pretty strong sugar side. Actually, Mike might be able to guess this one too. Actually, Garrett, you might be able to guess this one too. I never listened to country at all until this.
It's got to be Sturgill Simpson.
Sturgill Simpson. Yeah, Sturgill Simpson.
Yes. I was holding on to that record too. Nice.
Got that in a
this is,
record? That's awesome.
Yeah, look at the inside too.
You bought me that one too, Kelly. I've got it.
Yeah, this one is like
It's a masterpiece for artwork and everything.
Holy shit.
It's a Sailor's Guide to Earth.
super.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's got
Yeah.
like a soul vibe to it, like with the horns. There's
Another,
organs
like,
in there.
Concept album kind
Yeah,
of, right?
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this one he wrote when his son was about to be born. So it's called A Sailor's Guide to Earth. And basically it's like, he could give it to his son and it would teach him about life. And the whole, it's like, basically all the songs are kind of in order, like chronologically.
Nice.
So, and actually, if I remember correctly, the last song blends right back into the first song because his favorite album is, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On. So it's kind of like based on that a little bit is my understanding, but, yeah, super good album. One of my favorites ever. Definitely one that I had to get in vinyl, and I try to get for everybody else in vinyl too.
Well, you guys introduced me to Sturgill Simpson. Then I started looking at who produced him, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is that David Cobb? Is that his name?
He's been involved with them, I think. Yeah, and I can check for you, but yeah, David Cobb is unreal.
So then I started looking at all the stuff what other artists he worked with, and it was like Shooter Jennings and a bunch of these other great guys, like obviously Chris Stapleton, and that guy cranks out awesome music.
When I was producing more music, I used the same mastering engineer as because Meta Modern Sounds and Country Music. It was like an album I really liked the sound of. So I wonder who mastered this, and so I found out who it was, and so he's done most of Sturgill stuff and Chris Stapleton stuff, and so I hired him to do a bunch of my stuff. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. This is David Ferguson is on this one.
Oh, okay.
Mastered by Gavin Lurson. But most of the string and horn arrangements were by another guy here. But I noticed on Polywog, and so on the first song and the last song, it's the Dap Kings. So they used to play with Sharon Jones, who passed away. But yeah, there's just some super cool connections in here.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Pete Lyman is the mastering engineer, and he's kind of like known for vinyl mastering, which is why I wanted to work. So this is a record that I did.
Oh,
You can
nice.
see it. So that's one
Oh,
that he did. One with another band called Tiger Moon. He did all their stuff, and then Zoe, he did her EP and stuff too. So yeah, super talented guy, and he's got like wicked analog gear, and he's like very like when he's mastering stuff, it's all around like how is this going to sound on vinyl, and
Yeah.
so it's pretty cool. Yeah,
That's kind of what I tried when I went down that rabbit hole, because I don't have what I forget what it's called, but I look up guys like that and see who else they're working with because I like the sound. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So who else are they working with? Maybe it's someone I've never heard before. Like to think that Jason Isbell, does that sound right?
Yeah,
he's got
unreal.
some good stuff. He's got some really good stuff too.
The only trouble with him is everything's very emotional and like usually on the sad side.
Yeah.
But like his songwriting's so powerful, right? And it's usually about like pretty deep and like sometimes dark stuff. So, but it's like as a songwriter and a musician, he's just like top tier for sure.
I usually find all my music through you guys just sending me stuff, and I'm like, oh, sweet, I check this out.
Yeah.
Or-
Have we noted yet that this whole whiskey vinyl segment has a playlist on Spotify now?
No, actually, we haven't. So, yeah.
What?
You set it up. I haven't even started following it. I'm going to do that right now. What is it called?
So after this episode, I'll throw you guys can let me know what songs off of those albums
No, you do it,
you
Kelly.
want to put on. And then I can add those on there. But we should have 6 tunes on there now. We'll just keep building off that. If people want to follow that playlist, you can.
That's awesome.
I think it's called Rookie Hunter Dash Whiskey and Vinyl.
Nice. Cool.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
should confess that this is another show I work on. It's called Cut and Retie. It's a fishing show with Joe Cermelli. And he's got a playlist. Like every episode, he'll add 2 more songs to the playlist.
Nice.
Yeah, so I kind of borrowed the idea from him, but
Oh, well, whatever.
shout out
Well-
to Joe Cermelli, Cut Retie. If you're into fishing, especially on the East Coast, check that one out.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, it's cool because the idea kind of fits right into our interests and kind of what we do on the daily anyways. So,
Yeah,
I mean, half of our text messages in the group chat are just us flicking albums back and forth. So,
yeah,
I mean, like every time we go hunting, I don't think if we have something to play music is playing nonstop. And
nonstop, yeah.
it's never like repeating the same song. You
That's
guys
right.
have quite the catalog of music, which is awesome because then I get to go home and I got a whole new bank of music to play with,
Yeah.
yeah.
which is killer. I love that.
Nice,
Yeah.
cool. Well, I mean, I don't even know what's left in the season. Is it over?
I think it's,
Not for me. It's just getting started.
yeah, I mean,
guess,
for Garrett, it's just getting started. I think, I don't know. I don't even want to say as far as whitetail, but I know there's a bow season to kind of end the year, right? But I just
Right.
don't know if it's ended, if it goes to the 20th or if it ended on like the 10th or the 15th. So I haven't,
Yeah, for some
haven't
reason,
checked.
the 15th was ringing out at me, but
Obviously, we haven't been out much in terms
No.
of the deer, but I guess thinking about next year already, no, I don't think we have any answers at this point, but we're kind of throwing around some ideas, which is already exciting. I still feel like this is the most exciting part in a way. It's just kind of
Yeah.
looking at the calendar and imagining what can happen. So,
Totally. What you can fit in. I guess
And
that's
that
what I
too,
always
yeah.
come to. Yeah.
and best to do that now too.
Totally.
Kind of commit to it as best we can and then work around it. But
yeah, I mean, to wrap things up here, I think what I would say about this season, my only real goal is to just have enough meat to sustain me for a year,
mhm.
and because it's just me that's eating it. I mean, that moose, man, that's enough. That's enough for me to like make it through until at least the summer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you'll have that, that hunger, I guess, to get back out there again in the fall. So I know I got out there a lot in the beginning of the fall this year, like September all the way up until October until we got the moose, and then it's kind of like, I think I said this before, it's kind of like a blessing and a curse to get something, because your season, I mean, unless you want to really stockpile meat, which I don't really want to do, I don't really have the room for it either.
Mhm.
But the downside is you're just like not really getting out as much as you want to be, because it's the chase. It's the thing that like keeps you like going out there
Yeah.
day after day after day. But then when you get meat, it's like, okay, well, I'm kind of done. So it's bittersweet to have enough meat to be happy and not get out there. But at the same time, it's like, shit, I kind of wish we didn't get, or we just got a deer or something that didn't go very far and we needed to go out and do more.
Yeah.
But I mean, all in all, it was not a very long season, but it was really good. I mean, I had an awesome time this year.
Yeah, and I think, like, for whatever reason, this is one of those years where we didn't get out maybe as much, like as a team or like the three of us or even individually. But, I definitely like to be on that blessing side, like there's
Yeah.
a lot of meat down there. What I like even more is to kind of have that, but then have the time to continue to go out and go out and go out and just be selective over what you see.
Yeah,
and,
good point. Yeah.
It kind of takes the pressure off. And then, like you said, you could focus on, that pasta meal with your family when you're out there, or, just walking around. You know, we found some cool spots this year walking around in those grassy areas up
Yeah.
on top of that mountain where all those grouse were hanging out.
Yep.
But like just having days like that where you don't really feel like you have to necessarily do anything, but you know, a dream buck could walk by too. So
Yeah.
Totally.
That's usually when it happens. It's when you don't give a shit anymore. It's like,
yeah,
that's when,
you're just
When
out
the
there
things come
enjoying the air, you know?
yeah.
I guess for me, it's just like I'm so curious that I've teed up all these spots and I'm always wondering, I wonder what lives in there.
Yeah.
And this one spot that I went with the hounds, like it was so far back there and I've been putting it off. And I'm like, I got to get in there. And I went in there and I cut maybe a day old, but it was a decent sized cat track.
Hmm.
So now
Oh,
I know
really?
where there's I know where there's a mountain lion. And if I've never went in there, if I never
Yeah.
pushed myself, you know, I've looked at it.
Yeah.
So that to me is always, like you guys are saying, like the meat part of it. But to me, I'm always like, I want to check this out. I want to check that out. I want to hike into here. You know,
Yeah.
what's living back there? What's tucked away? So
Yeah.
that part of it is like the adventure, I guess.
Yeah.
So to me,
100%.
that's the
It's like you're chronicling, right? Like you're taking notes. It's like you're just a book and you're trying to fill in you're trying to gain as much knowledge as you can because it'll make you a better hunter, but it'll also kind
Totally.
of give you ideas. And at the end of the day, it's all stuff you're going to pass down to your kids. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's stuff that you just want to keep kind of soaking it in. And the only way you can do that is just to be out there.
exactly.
Right.
So this spot, like again, it took a lot to get there. Like the dogs are barely moving around. I think I did over 20K, and that was a couple days ago, and that's in the snow. And I'm glad I went
Yeah.
back there. And there you go.
Do you ever
There's a
bring
mountain lion.
snowshoes or are you just plowing with your hiking boots?
I just plow with my hiking boots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the snow's not that deep right now, but if it
Yeah,
was that
true.
deep, there's no way I would go that far back.
Oh, I guess
Uh,
they wouldn't be able to move either, eh? If you needed snowshoes, and they would be hooped.
Yeah, I think they kind of more they end up. This is what I've learned. They usually end up down in areas where all the winter or like the wintering grounds where the animals are wintering.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going after mountain lion, bobcat, little different. They bobcats and lynx, not so much. Lynx are usually higher up.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've learned, but I'm not
Yeah.
an expert.
I've seen them at the
so-
ski hill up on Big
See,
White.
yeah, there you go. There,
Yeah.
people have said they've seen them up at Red too. So
Yeah. Cool.
Hey, did I ever tell you guys the cougar cross country skiing story?
You told me, I don't know if you've ever told it on the podcast.
Should we end on that one?
Sure.
Garrett, I don't know if you've ever heard it, but
no,
so this was the winter before. So this was my first few months with Earl, and kind of getting to know him, and you know, getting out there and doing stuff with him, and like enjoying being off leash with him. He was really good at that since the very beginning. So like, I want to take him cross country skiing and see how he does. And I decided to go on a night ski with him. And Kelly, you've done a night ski. We did that on New Year's one night. Me, you, and Bree went up there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's like the trails are all groomed. It's beautiful. Like really, I mean, it's like a gradual trail. It's not like super technical or anything. It's just like very enjoyable, and you can go as long as you want. I think there's like 23 kilometers of dog friendly trails up there. So it's pretty awesome.
Okay. I got to put a side story in here.
Okay.
Remember we went, it was when we were doing that. And I think it was Bree who had the headlamp on, and she was like going down, and she was going down this hill, and then she just had this massive wipeout, and all you could see was the headlamp shooting straight up in the air. It just pitch black. I still remember that image. It was hilarious. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So it was not the same route we did, but I mean, there's certain parts that connect there. Anyways. So it was just me and Earl. It was dark and like it was late. I mean, it wasn't super late, but it's dark. It's wintertime. I mean, it gets dark at like 4:00 now. So it could have been like, 7:30 by the time I got up there. Super pumped to be out there. And as I'm going up, it's like, you get that weird feeling, like the kind of the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. And I'm not uncomfortable being out in the night and stuff like that. And I had a headlamp, but the stars were out. So I had it turned off because I just kind of wanted to take it all in. And there was enough light so you could see your surroundings. And the whole time I'm going up, and there's a point that I wanted to get to. And I'm just like, man, I just feel uncomfortable, and I feel like something's like watching me. And Earl was kind of being kind of weird, but I mean, I only had him for like 2-3 months maybe at that point. And like, he's being weird. I feel really uncomfortable. So whatever. I just keep going. I'm enjoying it. It's beautiful. It's winter. Happy to be out on the skis. First ski of the year.
Yeah.
And then I get to the point that I want to stop and turn around, and I had some snacks. I'm like, okay, I'll just stop here and have something to eat and then turn around. And I was just feeling like super uncomfortable. Like, fuck, what is going on, man? I never feel like this. And I looked at Earl, and like his head's going like, you know how dogs, when they kind of are like sensing something, their heads are twitching back and forth. I'm like, I even said out loud, like, you feeling that too, buddy? And he's just like looking all over the place and just looking really sketched out. So you try and like think, okay, well, this is his first time like doing like a night ski. He's probably just weirded out by it or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyways, I eat like an orange and have a granola bar and start heading back. And then we're going down, and all of a sudden I see two eyes on the trail.
Ooh.
And I'm like, okay, it could be a lynx or something. It's like kind of low to the ground because there's lots of lynx and stuff up there. And then, so I stop and I'm just kind of watching it like, hey, whatever, it's kind of cool, whatever. I like seeing wildlife. But all of a sudden, the eyes are like down low, like close to the ground. And then they raise up really high. I'm like, fuck, that is not a lynx. That is much bigger than a lynx. And
it's Freddy
so
Cougar.
like, shit. Yeah. I'm like, that must be a cougar. Like, been uncomfortable the whole time. This thing followed us all the way up here.
Jeez.
And now we're turned around and it's like looking right at us. So I'm yelling at it. I'm like, hey, like, get out of here. Like, you know, whatever, just
like
yelling shit, trying to like get it out of here. No, I wish I had. And yeah, just yelling at him. And so I'm like, okay, if this is a cougar, I don't really want to have my skis on.
No
in
kidding.
case, right? Because I got the dog, he's on a leash. If he gets freaked out, knocks me over, and I'm on skis, this is going to be a shit show. So I take my skis off, and I'm like banging my poles together and stuff. I'm like, hey, get out of here. And I'm just slowly walking forward, but it's slowly coming towards me, taking steps, slow, like predator steps towards me. I'm like, fuck, man. So I just keep yelling. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm just like, I sound like a crazy person. I'm like, fuck you, get out of here. And I'm yelling at it and doing all this, right? And it just keeps getting closer and closer and closer. I'm like, man, what do I do? Because I can't, there's only one trail, right? It's the one groomed trail. It's an FSR in the summertime. And that's what they groom. So I'm just keep yelling, and finally, like, it goes off to the side of the trail, and I'm like, oh, that's not great either, because now I don't know where this thing went.
You got to go past it.
I got to go past it, and I don't know where it is anymore. So I kept my skis off. I'm carrying them. I'm still like yelling. I got my poles. Earl's on the leash. He's connected to me, and he's like super like sketched out. He's like quiet and staying really close to me, which was good. And then so we're walking, nothing. Like, this is quite a distance, and I'm trying to be slow, but like assertive and like trying to look big and all that kind of shit, you know, you're supposed to do. And then we're walking. I look to my left. The fucking thing is like 10 feet away, just sitting underneath of a tree. And the image of it is just like burned in, because the first thing I saw was its paws, and they're huge. So like, that's not a lynx, man. That's not like anything small. This is a cougar, and it's just sitting there staring at us. And I think I was like, fuck you. I think that's all I said to it. I'm like, get out of here, yelling and all this stuff. And it just sat there and looked at us. And I think what it was doing was just like trying to size up the threat level. Like, how big is this guy? What is this thing next to him? And should I make a move on them
For sure.
or not? So then so you pass it. Now it's behind you. So I'm like walking backwards, and I'm still yelling at it. Thing's just sitting there, not moving at all. So I get like maybe like 100 yards, 50 yards away from it, like a decent distance, put my skis on, and just ski it all the way out of there. And I was still yelling like, get out of here, fuck you. Like, just swearing at the thing. I sounded like a lunatic, man. Like, I wish that I had like turned my phone on to like record what I was doing.
Did it make any sound when you got close to it?
Nothing.
Did it
It was
hiss
just
or
staring at
anything?
me. No, nothing, man.
Ooh, that's creepy.
It was like super, super calm, and just like looking at it, like, or looking at us, like totally sizing us up. But it's just like, it's totally like burned into my retinas, this thing just looking at, and the paws were like the thing that really stuck out when I'm like, okay, that's definitely a cougar. I'm not just like imagining things or like worrying. So it was pretty wild. And yeah, the whole way down, I'm like, this thing could be behind us because I felt this feeling the whole way up there that something was following us. So I mean, the moral of the story is like, trust your intuition. And I think we have this primal thing in us, even if you don't know that you haven't seen something, or you like it literally, I'm like, my neck was like tingling the whole way up.
Oh yeah.
So it's really interesting. And
well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's very common to see them in the wild.
no, I've run into, that's the second one I ran into. One I ran into was running, and it was coming down these two trails kind of met at a V.
Yeah.
And we were just like coming at the same time. It was running down the top.
Where was Kelly this whole time? He just abandoned you, eh?
No, these were
I wasn't there.
Solo trips.
It was a separate trip.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this is the one where
No, these were two separate ones. Yeah. But yeah, so running, and this was actually close to my house here, behind Wilden, actually.
Holy crap.
But it was a young one, and I think it was so young. It was probably like eating people's cats and shit. I think that's why it was close to.
Holy smokes.
Close to that. But it was so small that I think I was big enough that I scared the shit out of it. It scared the shit out of me, and it just took off.
Well, it's a good thing you had the dog on a leash too. I bet you if the dog would have got off, that might have been a different story.
Yeah, exactly. So 2 run-ins with cougars. The second time on the skis was the scariest, and that was a huge cat. So.
Crazy. See, you're the one finding all the cougars, and then I find all the stuff that's dead.
Yeah. Well, I've seen tracks in this spot before, so that's kind of why I was a little bit sketched out in the beginning.
Gary, you should be coming up here.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I don't think I'd want to be in that predicament unless I had like, a tag, a gun, or some sort of
nothing. No bear spray, nothing. Just my ski poles.
Bear spray. I don't think you would win that one.
I also have cougars on my cam, right, Mike, from that muley spot where we were in.
Yep.
And then we've seen cougar kills up there too. So
yeah, I think they cleaned that spot out.
Is that a winter area where you guys have the camera?
Yeah, you could consider it that.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go, man. They're around. Yeah. They're just super good at not.
Well, yeah, they
not being seen.
If you see them, it's because they want you to see them. So that's
exactly. Because they want to eat you. That's why.
Exactly. Yeah.
Garrett, you and I had like suspected cougar encounters up behind your house, but we would never see them. We would just hear shit and feel weird.
Yeah.
Remember on the mountain bikes that one time when we got I think it was Tim or somebody got a flat tire.
No, I was ahead of you guys. You guys came down and told me about it. And my brother was there too. And they're like, we don't know. We think it was a mountain lion.
Something was stalking us.
Something was stalking you guys. Yeah.
Another one of those situations where you just feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah. I was there riding with you guys, but I remember waiting down. I'm like, where the hell are these guys? And you guys came down. You'd be like, you wouldn't believe this. What happened? Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah. You don't want to see them. It's cool to have that story. I'm kind of like stoked that I got to live that and see a cougar 15 feet away. But at the moment I was like, fuck, this is brutal.
Yeah. Not good.
Yeah.
No risk, no reward.
Yeah. Yeah. We should do a night ski up there though sometime, Kel.
Yeah, sounds great.
We'll bring bear spray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take my 12 gauge.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. There was people in the parking lot when I got down and I was shaking, man. Like my hands were like, I was just like super jittery and like adrenaline running. And like, I don't think you guys want to go up there. I just ran into a cougar and they're like, really? Yeah. So they were like, talking about it for a while. I think they ended up leaving and not going up there, but yeah.
I remember you texted me that night, but
yeah, I was rattled, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would get my adrenaline going.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's the last time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure if you had more than one person, I'm sure that played into it. It was like one guy.
Yeah.
If you had a group of people, probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Mess with you, but yeah,
I agree.
Those and grizzly bears, man. I don't. I don't like them.
And rattlesnakes. Those are the
rattlesnakes. Three. Oh yeah, they do it too. I don't like them.
No,
jeez.
We've had our fair share.
I don't like them things.
Both. Yeah. Cool guys. Well, I mean, yeah, this is fun. We're almost an hour and a half here, but I don't know when this is going to come out. So either Merry Christmas or Happy New Year. And we'll see you guys in the new year. But
Yeah.
I like the idea of turkeys in the spring,
Yeah,
Mhm.
even if it yields nothing, just a good time. That's fine with me.
100%.
And we got some planning to do for 2024. We got some great ideas that we sort of we were all in for a couple of weeks there, just going nuts, and then it's been on the back burner. But we should probably start planning.
I agree.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah.
Yep. Happy holidays.
Cheers.
There you go, 145. As the title suggested, it's been a very green Christmas. I think that's the case for just about everybody. And I know in Canada and probably throughout North America. But hey, the snow is starting to fall up top on the hills here. I'm actually going to strap on the skis right after I drop this and enjoy some snow. I'm looking forward to it. So again, Happy New Year, guys. Thanks for all your support as we returned here. Again, if you don't mind, please leave us a rating, review, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. And we'll see you sometime next week. Cheers.